let's look at one maybe that now involves an angle of depression. So this one says an ice climber stands at the edge of a crevice, or a crevasse if you're fancy, okay, that is 115 feet wide. It says the angle of depression from the edge where she stands to the bottom of the opposite side is 52 degrees. Okay, it says now how deep is the crevice at this point round to the nearest foot. Okay, I'm going to scroll just a little bit here and give myself some more room. Okay, I'm going to draw like a terrible picture, but it'll work just fine. Okay, I'm going to draw this picture in blue because we're talking about ice, and blue is cold, I guess, or ice is cold and blue, I guess. All right, so let's I'm going to draw basically just a little model of this. So here's my ice. I'm going to try to make it somewhat vertical, right? But I'm going to make it jagged and pretend that this is jagged ice. Okay, so I'm going to pretend that this is one end of this crevice, right? So maybe this is like a glacier that's split apart. Okay, this is maybe the other end of the glacier. Okay, it's really jagged again. Okay, and then maybe realistically, the glacier maybe goes up like this. But I'm going to draw a little stick person because I'm a terrible drawer. Okay, I'm going to draw. Okay, here's some legs. Here's a body. Okay, my pen's off a little bit, but there's our girl. Okay, and she's standing at the edge of this crevice. Okay, and so I think that's a fairly good picture. So let's maybe look back and see what we got. Right, so this ice climber standing at the crevice. This is 115 feet wide. Right, and maybe I'll draw my horizontal lines here that are parallel. So I'm going to grab my tool here, and here are my horizontal lines here. So that will work. Okay. And so here is my first horizontal line. It's going to go right here, right? And it's going to be parallel to my second horizontal line, which is right here. Okay, those are actually parallel, so maybe I'll go back to my pen tool here. I'll say that these are parallel. I think that's very important to understand here, that these lines are parallel. Okay, it says this crevice is 115 feet wide. Okay, so that's important to understand that this is 115 feet. Okay, right here. Okay, this is the angle of depression from the edge of where she stands to the bottom. I'm going to underline this is important. Okay, from the edge of where she stands to the bottom of the opposite side is 52 degrees. Okay, so we have to understand that this is what we're talking about right here. Okay, so I'm going to grab my line. I'll even make this green so we can see that corresponds. All right, so angle of depression. Okay, so here's the important part. Okay, is that this right here, this angle of depression going down from this horizontal line to here, right? That's going down, right? That they said that's 52 degrees. Okay, and we want to know how deep is the crevice at this point, okay, and round to the nearest foot. Okay, so let's look at what we actually know. Okay, we know a couple things. I'm going to first of all say that because we have parallel lines and this green transversal here, that alternate interior angles is going to give us this, the fact that this is also 52 degrees. So these two lines, or these two angles, excuse me, are congruent, right? They're the same. Okay, so now we've got this picture that's really, really helpful. Okay, we know that again, this is 115 feet, this horizontal line right here. Okay, that's the adjacent side to the angle that we know. Okay, and we want to know the height here, we'll call it x, right? We want to know this height right here. Okay, and so remember, we look at SO, CA, TOA, and we want to ask ourselves, like, what are we actually going to use here? Like, which one of these ratios? Right, so our angle that we know is right here, the angle that we're given. Okay, we then have the adjacent side, and we have the opposite side, right? So TOA wins again here. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to say that the tangent of 52 degrees is going to be equal to opposite over adjacent, right? So it's going to be x over our adjacent side, which is 115 feet. Sorry, I got a little ahead of myself. Okay, 115 feet. Okay, we don't have to write the feet there if we don't want to, that's okay. But in order to solve this problem, we'll just multiply both sides by 115. Okay, the 115s there will cross cancel, and I'll know that x is going to be equal to 115 multiplied by the tangent of 52 degrees. Okay, and so this will give us basically the height of this crevice, right? How deep this crevice actually is. Okay, or crevasse. Okay, so I'll take 115 multiplied by the tangent of 52 degrees. Okay, and that actually gives us 147. Okay, and it asks to the nearest foot. Right, so again, it's 147 feet. So say x equals 147 feet, which is our answer. And we can actually write this out. We can say again, the crevice is 115 feet deep. Okay, and that would be our final answer. Okay, so I hope this extra example here of angles of elevation and angles of depression, I hope that was helpful for you guys.